Hello beautiful friends, welcome to today's video. We are going to be talking about the power of the words that we choose to use at this time. The other night as I was staying up late at night, I was, with my husband and brainstorming some ideas and had lots of big notebooks out, and it came time to name this piece of work that I'm working on. And I felt very guided to call it Ascension for Families. And we're talking about ascension. And then I immediately felt very annoyed, very angry. I felt the collective pulse around ascension being used here online. We want a lighthouse, right? We want something to kind of keep us on in some sort of good grounded direction, right? Now, for myself, what I think has probably propelled me the furthest, if I'm being honest, is this word ascension. It's so exciting. It's so magic. But there are self-worth issues that come up when we talk about that level of highest potential, at least in my experience. If you sit and decide to have a meditation and really consider the highest potential of humanity, it's really fascinating what comes up within you, the fears that come up, the voices that come up, the tone of voice that comes up, the frustration that comes up, the impatience that comes up. Today, I just want to extend an invitation to become clear with yourself on what does that mean for you? What does that mean for your family? What does it mean in the way that you are going to create habits? You're going to magnify in the resources that support the changes that you are experiencing and going through. How can that word and this idea and this movement forward, how can that support you in your relationship with everything, with the entirety of your karma? I had a teacher sit down with me once who was giving me a reading, and she was like, it's all your karma. I'm your karma. Your kids are your karma. Your home is your karma. This land is your karma. It's all your karma. It's all your karma. It's all inviting you into your highest potential. That's all that karma does. It's just the invitation into our highest potential. That's another word. That's really fascinating that's coming through, because that's another word that can get really confusing. All that is the invitation that life is presenting you to bust through the thing that's been holding you back, right? You come up to the block, right? And you rise above it, and then you're standing on top of that block. It was so fascinating for me. A few months ago, as soon as I got to Arizona, I moved from Illinois to Arizona. And on the way here, actually, it was on the drive. I was driving my two kids by myself in a pickup truck from the 90s, packed with a lot of our stuff and our pet bunny. I would just be like on these huge long stretches of highway. And what I kept being reminded on this journey to land in my new home in Arizona in the high desert, it was like, you are experiencing an ascension journey, the entire human collective. And there was just this profound feeling of unity and connection to all of you, where it was like, we are all experiencing this. And it's really now just a matter of willingness to how much of it we are able to open up and take in. There was just this message of just like, it is happening. This ascension journey, it is unfolding. The whole human collective is going through an ascension process. And I just had these waves of total humility in that, because there was so much in what I was feeling that I didn't even understand. But I could feel the truth in how quickly we were all going to be moving ahead together. I had this love for humanity wash over me, and love for myself and love for my children who decided to be here at this time. And then love for myself that I decided to be a mother at this time. And that's really what I want you to feel. Or at least what feels best for me to feel when I feel into what is ascension. It's courage and love and commitment and deciding not to give up and deciding not to be afraid of death and to embrace the teacher of life and of death. It's all, it's just so much reverence for all of this energy that's streaming through us. That is the way that I can talk about ascension. I don't watch a lot of YouTubers anymore who talk about that topic specifically. I want to stay very just connected to my own experience with this. But I know enough, I see enough to feel this sensation of, it's like bittersweet, and that's okay. It's okay. It's actually that's a super sweet feeling to be with and to meditate with. It opens up so much compassion within me. And the bittersweetness for me, it comes from this becoming like a marketing term, in the same way that what happened with, talking about being a priestess, right? I feel not so guided to do that anymore, even though I clearly am in touch with the priestess arts and with living my life completely in that surrendered, high priestess archetype. Love it. Works for me. But I don't create offerings around that anymore so much, because there's just been such a big conversation around that in my opinion has gone in a direction that I don't have the energy to steer that ship into a different direction. I know what that word means to me, and that's all that matters. And that's what today's video is all about, is that when you see these phrases like ascension or Christ consciousness, just this morning received a message on Instagram about Christ consciousness. Let's talk about that for a moment. That is a word that I believe reclaiming that word Christ is incredibly healing. I think it's incredibly healing to reclaim it. That's not part of my service at this time, but I resonate with the Christed energies, with those golden Christ light energies, and I invoke them. I invoke that. I invoke the spirit of the purity of Christ consciousness, because there's a lightning and a goldenness about it and a solidness about it. And I appreciate that, that word Christ consciousness has infused with the human journey more so than a word such as ascension, which feels very much outside of us. It feels very much in the way that the collective is experiencing it right now. I see it being viewed as something very much like the lighthouse down the path, when it's actually happening right inside of our bodies. All of these words, and there will probably be new ones, right? Sovereignty is a really hot word right now. We'll see where this conversation evolves into over the next few months, just this year, the next few years, the next decade. I love it. I love it. I love resurrecting words that deserve our time, attention, and meditation, to truly develop a very personal relationship about what that word means inside of my body when I speak it. And that is something I'm really excited to talk more about, probably towards the later end of, mid to later end of this year, where we can really start to talk about the voice. And I will say I have a new offering for you guys. I want to tell you about it. It's a free offering. It's a meditation where you can start to activate and hear your authentic higher self voice. okay? Your own internal divine mother guidance. Our higher self is such a consciousness, right? It's such this enormous consciousness, and we are doing our best, right, to channel that higher self consciousness like through our embodiment. Yeah. Part of your higher self consciousness has like a divine mother aspect to it that is really nurturing and really compassionate and really wise and super sharp and clear and loving. And I want to assist you with activating that voice to start to come through you, okay? And really helping you guide your day-to-day and showing you where you can start to cultivate more magic in the mundane. And so I'm really excited about that. It's a free meditation. You can find that in the description below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this conversation and how you are navigating the vocabulary of this time. What feels good for you? Do you relate to anything I was speaking of? Do you want to add on to anything in what we're talking about today? I would really love to engage with that in the comments. So I look forward to chatting with you there, and I hope you like and subscribe this video. It really helps this channel out so much. Thank you for being here. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.